here. Let me see if I can fix this angle a little bit. How you guys doing? It's super late. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about this business there's this new documentary I'm sure you've heard from Candace Owens where she got hold. I had I had this time I shared my video properly before. Hi Beverly, nice to see you. So you hear the echo because I had it playing. Anyhow, you guys know about this new documentary that Candace Owens made about what BLM did with the money. They received like $80 million, and Candace Owens got hold of the like their tax returns that they made for the IRS, where they detailed what they did with that money, because the whole purpose of them collecting this money was to improve the lives of Black people in America and to fight against police brutality. I mean, as I understand it, I thought that was the goal. The goal was to like end discrimination and have a better situation between the police and the Black community, this kind of stuff. And I would guess also just help the Black community in general. I mean, it's Black Lives Matter, so you're supposed to be helping Black people. You guys know I was there at the protest, like in 2020. I went to a couple of them here in Montreal. I was there at the first one. It was like, oh my God, it was so emotional, you know? Do you guys remember that? Yeah, it was like really heavy. I mean, it was at the time, you know, it was like quite shocking and everything. And of course, everybody was talking about this, and it was like this huge movement, and everybody was giving them a lot of money. And then it was like, yeah, what happened with that? I mean, did anything actually really change? Oh my gosh, this is a tangent, but we're going to talk about what happened to that money. But I got to tell you, talk about somebody really doing something for the Black community and like minorities in general and ending discrimination. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can just pull this up. Oh no, I did it again. I forgot. I forgot to, where is this thing? This is huge. I want to get his name though. I want to get his name because there's a guy in Montreal right now, a Black guy, who I can't even believe, like, there's no news articles about it. What, I just didn't look up the right terms. Okay, it had to do with, okay, so there's a guy in Montreal. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is really good. But we'll get to the Candace Owens thing and the BLM money. This is like huge, right? Police can't pull over a driver without cause. Quebec Superior Court rules in racial profiling case. Racial profiling does exist, is what the court said, after a Black Montrealer launched a legal fight for change. This is amazing. So this guy, Joseph Christopher Luamba, he took them to court because of the right that police have up here to just pull people over. You guys, I think, have more protection in the US. I'm not really sure 100%, but because you have like a right against unreasonable search and seizure, I think that they're not supposed to pull you over just like that. But apparently, and I didn't even know this, but apparently up here in Quebec, the police were allowed to just pull people over randomly. And they said, oh, that's the only way that we can check if people are drunk. Kind of weird, though. I mean, wouldn't there be some like indications like they'd be swerving all over the road? But anyway, they figured that they were justified pulling people over. But guess who they're pulling over? A lot of Black people. It's that whole driving while Black thing. So this guy, Mr. Joseph Christopher Luamba, I got fed up. And I guess he got pulled over for driving while Black. And he took this to court. So let me just see what he did exactly. It says police motor vehicle stops without cause are a violation of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Quebec Superior Court ruled Tuesday. Wow, that's amazing. Like, that's huge. Hi, Claire. Hi, Nazy. That's really huge. I love to see people fighting for their human rights. And I mean, this is a huge thing. I can't believe nobody ever took this up before. I didn't even know it was an issue. So let's see what happened. He's only 22 years old. And he told the court he gets ready to pull over whenever he sees a police cruiser. So yeah, this was the thing. He got his driver's license in March 2018. And he said in the next 18 months, he was stopped by police around 10 times for no specific reason. He said he was driving a car during about half the stops and was a passenger in another person's car during the other police stops. So he just got like traffic stopped 10 times in 18 months. I've been driving since 2017 and I have never been stopped except for once when I failed to stop at a flashing red light, which was replacing a stop sign. That's it. So it's been, what? Yeah, like about 6 years, or no, 5 years, because I started driving in November. So in 5 years, I've only been stopped once when I actually did something wrong. This guy got stopped randomly for absolutely no reason 10 times in 18 months. That's pretty crazy. So you know what? He had enough. And he took this up with the courts. He said, why was I stopped? I followed the rules. I didn't commit any infractions. So he took this to court. Terry Joe, you've been driving since 1983 and you've been stopped about 10 times? What? Since 1983. Yeah, so imagine 10 times in 18 months. Anyway, he got fed up. And he took this thing to court and he won. Isn't that amazing? So now the police can no longer stop people randomly. Incredible. I mean, I think this is huge. The judge said the ruling is not about racism within police forces, saying the court heard no evidence in this regard, nor did it draw a conclusion, but he noted that racial profiling can sneakily creep into police practice without police officers in general being driven by racist values. So wow, this guy Luamba changed how things are done up here single-handedly, made probably a really big difference for a lot of people. And he did it without $80 million. Impressive, impressive. So here's the thing. I mean, I just have some notes here. Oh, hi. Oh, Terry Joe. Oh, well, nice to have you with me. Man, it's been a long time, eh? Nice to have you all these years. So I saw not the entire documentary by Candace Owens, but I saw some of it. I had shared about it on Facebook. Like I shared the trailer. Immediately, one of my Black, well, I wouldn't call her exactly a friend, but like acquaintance, got very offended. She said some really nasty things about Candace Owens that honestly were so offensive that I don't even want to repeat them here. I mean, oh, you can't see it's behind that bag, but there's a picture of my family that died in World War II, and this person was like drawing parallels between Candace Owens and the person who was responsible for my family's death. So I was like, what? And said a lot of other things and kind of taking things out of context. Oh, BLM, it's not only the organization, the nonprofit, it's also a movement. It's like, yes, I know, but I was specifically talking about the nonprofit, which has to account for its finances. And anyway, so that was the first reaction. So then what I did was I called another friend of mine who's also Black. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Terry Joe. Appreciate it. Oh, good night. Oh, you're leaving. Well, God bless. Have a good night. So I called a friend of mine who's also Black, and I brought this up with her, and I was like, well, what do you think of all this stuff with, BLM's finances and what they did with the money? And my very reasonable, very intellectual friend was like, well, people donated money for a cause, so they should be using it for that cause, and they need to be held accountable. And just because they're Black or BLM doesn't give them a pass to do something that wouldn't be acceptable. I mean, so some people, like, they just hate Candace Owens so much that whatever Candace Owens says, just because it's coming from her, They automatically hate it. They hate anyone who repeats it. I think it's a bit what you call identity politics. Okay, bye, Terry Joe. I hope to see you next time. But realistically, this was a charity that received a lot of money. A lot of people put their faith and trust in them, gave them money to help the Black community, to help fight against police brutality and this kind of stuff. And the fact is that when they finally did do their taxes and it came out what they've been doing with their money, it turns out it didn't really go where people thought it would go. I'm going to tell you, I took some notes of some of the grants that they made here. Just getting myself ready mentally. So it's quite like my jaw like really dropped. I was like, wow, it really went to a totally different cause. A lot of it. So, okay, first of all, the issue with the mansion, that Patrice Cullens had bought several houses and people said, oh, you used the BLM money to buy these mansions. So they say BLM stands for buy lavish mansions. Cullens said that the mansions she bought were bought with her own money from her book and movie deals and whatever, television deals. Like it was her own money. So I would just accept that probably because it wasn't on the sheet that she was buying it with those properties with BLM's money. It's her money. I guess she can do whatever she wants with it. It just seemed a bit odd because I think they were like Marxists and it just seemed like, well, it seemed out of character, but I mean, it's her money and it's America and you can do whatever you want with your money. But there was someone called Diane Pascal who worked for BLM, who bought a mansion for $3 million and then sold it to BLM. I mean, if I understand correctly. So basically, she was associated with BLM. She bought this mansion and flipped it immediately to BLM. What did BLM, the organization, need a $6 million mansion for? I think they were going to use it for a lot of different things, but I mean, that is a really huge property. Hi, Pam. Hi, Bella. Hi, Armor of God. So there was that, and this is just about like the real estate. So 2 weeks after BLM received $66.5 million from a fiscal sponsor, they bought this mansion from Diane Pascal, flipped it. What the mansion was used for after, well, a couple things that were controversial was that Patrice Cullens used it for her son's birthday party and also for a Biden inauguration party, which she admitted these were like personal uses, but it wasn't her house. But that's just very beginning of this thing. And she also hired a lot of family members, which isn't surprising. I think it's pretty common for people to hire their family members. She hired her mom and her sister, also her brother and her baby daddy. But what kind of raised eyebrows was the baby daddy, Paul, who's a graffiti artist, was hired as security for $840,000. That's a lot of money. And Damon Turner, Patrice Cullens' baby daddy, he was paid $970,000 for production and media services. So they were each paid close to $1 million. That's a lot of money, right? So there's the house, and then there's those things. Then they gave an $8 million to an out-of-country grant. So it was supposed to be that this money was for American problems with race, relations, and the police. But they gave $8 million to M4BJ, which is in Toronto, which is run by Janaya Khan, which is Patrice Cullens' partner, who is non-binary. Hold on. Who's knocking at my door?
Oh, my guitar.
Rockstar's here to get his guitar. grab the guitar. He's getting pretty good at that thing. So Janaya Khan is like non-binary. I mean, started out as, from what I understand, Patrice Cullum's wife. I mean, I'm not sure if they identify as still as wife or something else, but anyway, let me Google, what is M4BJ? It's kind of weird, eh? They gave money to an organization that's not even in America. M4BJ. Where, it doesn't say here. Yeah, BLM transferred 6.3 million in cash to M4BJ. Oh, here it is. Oh, it got 1-star Google review. What is it? There's not a whole lot of information here. What does it do? It's a nonprofit in Toronto. Does anybody know exactly what does M4BJ do? There's M4BL. It's really weird. It's just, it keeps saying M4BL. Wait, Movement for Black Justice. Okay, that's what it is. Let's just see. I mean, it is weird that's in Canada. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is her partner's charity, and she goes ahead and gives, I mean, the nonprofit BLM gives $6.3 million to it. Legal resources. You guys want to look it up? It's m4bl.org. M4BL has created a popular strategy rooted in transformative goals. It's really badly designed website. Like, you can't even see anything on it. Transformative goals that will impact the millions of Black people looking for direction and leadership in this moment. Wait, what was that? Amnesty? Amnesty for protesters. Okay. Defund the police. The Breathe Act. A queer newsletter by the Movement for Black Lives. Campaign and events. You guys heard of this before? Buy large mansions. Oh, hi, Olivier. How are you doing? I mean, I didn't look into this particular charity before. I mean, really, though, the website's so hard to read. Who designed this website? I hope they didn't pay them $1 million. Our 5-year plan and what we do. Our movement and Black communities are not currently in a position to set agendas to scale. Blah, blah. Let's see. Well, what do they actually do? Movement for Black Lives is an ecosystem of individuals and organizations creating shared vision. Yes, but what do they actually do? The 5 pillars. Mass engagement. And there's a picture of what looks like a protest. We will engage 10% Black people within the United States by providing political education, trainings, and cultural events. Okay, so this isn't like education, like funding for like regular education, political education, trainings, and cultural events. So this isn't like for housing or what do you call it, like job training or employment. This is more like political mobilization. Interesting, because that comes into the picture later more as well. We will launch a number of distinct efforts and deliver regular, carefully crafted content to our folks in meaning and innovative ways. Okay, local power. We will establish self-determined Black communities where Black people are in governing power in at least 5 to 10 localities over the next 5 years. Must have the ability to create, shape, and influence agendas and use state power and governmental resources to advance this agenda. So are they going to like get people running for office? Create and operate spaces that serve as innovation hubs to deepen our base building, electoral organization, and mass engagement strategies. You know what's weird? This is Canada. They said this organization was in Toronto. Well, 8 million went to M4BJ, and they used 6.3 million to purchase a property in Toronto for this stuff. Go look at the website. So I guess the thing here is, this is Canada. So BLM was like mostly for America, although not to say we don't have problems here, but I think people were donating more to like address the problems of police brutality in America. Anyway, the money went to Canada. Leadership development. We will train 50,000 Black organizers, activists, strategists, and people in other essential roles to accomplish our 5-year strategy. You know what's interesting? This guy that I told you about, Joseph Christopher Luamba, he just took the government to court just like that and completely changed a law that enables racial profiling just by, fighting it, saying it was unconstitutional and winning. So let's see what else. So Diane Pascal, the person who bought this mansion and then sold it to BLM for $6 million, was the financial manager for the LLC company called Janaea and Patrice Consulting, operated by Patrice Collins and spouse Janaea Khan. So pretty close relationships there. So she's working for Patrice. She's the financial manager for their company, and then buys this house, and then BLM buys it from her, right? So she makes a big profit there. So here was the thing. There was this breakdown. I mean, aside from all that, oh yes, there was $32 million stock investment, which is supposed to be for an endowment. And $37 million in grants, real estate, so that includes those properties, and charter flights, including a $73,523 flight that Patrice Collins, she said, took, she said, because of COVID. And then there's a whole breakdown of all these other things. So one of the things that they did was, where did the money go, like in terms of community help, community organizing? What were they doing for the Black community? So apparently they gave millions to BLM organizers, but it wasn't really organizers. They were like companies that were in care of BLM. So they were organizations that could accept on behalf of BLM. And basically what they were doing were training, oh, thanks, Lady Liberty, training activists, techniques to use during protests, and giving jail bailouts, which we also saw that here on the site, M4BL, Janaea Khan's organization in Toronto, Canada. They did mention bailing out protesters and busing in protesters. So nobody knows exactly like how many people did they bus in, but these are the kind of things that these sort of organizations do. And I talked about this at the time. There was this organization in the UK called Momentum. I did this whole thing about it because they had, this is a different country, right? This is UK, it's not BLM. But they had written out this whole like sort of manifesto about how the fact that Trump was in office was a problem and how they needed to get him out. They wrote all this, and they talked about how they were going to create so much chaos. It was going to come to a crisis, and this was going to lead to change, and how they were training activists. And at the time, I said, well, it looks like this could be involved in the current protest movement that's in the US. So it turns out BLM was giving money to these companies that were acting like in care of BLM, that were organizations that train activists. So that reminds me of that a lot. So it isn't really just like people just randomly yes, people also just join the protest, but it didn't seem like it was extremely well organized, probably because there were like professional organizers involved that were also training participants and helping get them from one place to the other. So that's where money, that's one big place that a lot of money went. And then a whole bunch of grants that most of them were not related to the Black community, at least not directly. So as you know, so Janaea Khan is Patrice Cullen's spouse, who is a gender nonconformist. And so there was $200,000 to the Transgender Justice Fund project. 200,000, did I say 200,000? 200,000 Transgender Justice Fund project. 200,000 to the Transgender United Fund. 200,000 to the, what does it say? Transgender Care Center. 200,000 to Black Transgender Media. 200,000 to another transgender nonprofit. Oh yes, for like also intersex people. 200,000 transgender district, which was like a district where they want to have all transgender people living there. I mean, this is $200,000 grants to like each one of these. Those are big grants because I looked at the sheet, like the description of where they gave money in the Black community, and it was $800 to $68,000 per organization. And I think a lot of those were those ones that I told you about before, which were like training activists and stuff like that. $38 to help South Chicago. What's this? But these were like $200,000. Oh wait, hold on one second. I have to tell my son to turn that music down or I'm gonna have a problem. Gunnar, can you turn that down, please? Because I'm streaming and it's copyrighted music. Please, Gunnar, or they're gonna kill my whole audio. Yeah, those were like pretty small grants in comparison to this. 200,000 to St. James Infirmary. So this is like a nonprofit for sex workers. And they're the ones that created this transgender district, which then had received a separate $200,000. $200,000 for a center for Halstead. So I take my glasses off. I can't see anything. Halstead Chicago Community Center for the well-being of LGBTQ people in Chicago. 200,000 for the Audre Lorde Project, another LGBTQ POC community organization center. So that one it's POC, but it's also LGBTQ. 400,000. My writing is so bad. I mean, really, I can barely read it. I should have been a doctor, seriously. Transgender advocates. What is this? Knowledge empowering. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it abbreviated as TAKE, run by Daronicia Duncan Boyd. Who bought a big resource center as real estate. And then 200,000 to the House of Tulip. Zero barrier housing for transgender and non-binary nonprofit. 200,000 for Griffith Gracie. What does it say? I can't read my writing. Retreat Center, House of Gigi, transgender, non-conforming, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, so in 2019, House of Gigi had bought the Oasis Retreat. It was supposed to be like a retreat for transgender and non-binary, non-conforming people, but it wasn't used because of COVID and because the person had a stroke and whatever. And 2021, they bought another property next door. And apparently none of these organizations are up to date with their IRS tax returns. So that's a lot of money. Wait, let me just count on my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's like $2,600,000 to like assorted transgender and LGBTQ charities and nonprofits. So, you know, the issue here is just the fact that it's a completely different kind of charity. I mean, other than the ones that are serving the Black community, we all know how this whole thing started, the event that kicked it off, which I don't want to say just because I don't know like what YouTube's policy is these days, but with a very tragic event. And then people rose up in the streets against police brutality, against discrimination against Black people, and they gave all their money to BLM, and then BLM is giving all this money to this organization in Canada, and that's 8 million plus like another 26 million. No, 2,600,000 to all these different LGBTQ and transgender organizations. Like, if you donated money, for example, to, I don't know, pregnant teenagers or something like that, or let's say it like a resource for transgender people. Like, imagine this. Imagine if an organization raised all kinds of money to help transgender teens, and then they gave it to the trucker convoy. Like, they didn't give it to where you know, when you make a donation, you're like, here, this money is for this. And then they go and give it to something else. See, that's what's not cool. That's the problem. So because Patrisse Cullors' partner, Janaea Khan, is gender nonconforming, and that is their area of concern and interest, and that's where their heart is. Of course, they want to help that community. But the thing is, they took all this BLM money to do it, when really maybe they should have had another fundraiser for that. But like a whole ton of money went in that direction. Not to say those charities are not also deserving of funds, but like I said, like I don't want, you know, YouTube to think that I'm saying anything about like giving to trans community fundraisers or whatever. People can give to whatever it's on their heart to give to. They want to give to them, that's fine, right? But can you imagine giving money to one cause and then it being directed somewhere else? I mean, imagine if you were giving money to save the pandas and you know, they give it to something completely different. I mean, it's just not the way things are done. So that's not cool. And also the like massively inflated salaries that Patrisse Cullors gave to her baby daddy and her brother. Those things like are major red flags. I mean, I don't think this is acceptable. This is like a betrayal of people's trust, really. People are giving them all their hard-earned money because they care about what's happening with Black people in America and what's happening with police brutality, and they want to help the Black community. So, I mean, what do you guys think? And then the rest of it, all this other money is going to like bail out protesters and stuff like that, and it's very, very political. And, you know, using the mansion for Biden's inauguration party. Yeah. And so this was an issue that created so much division, because at the time, if anybody said, I don't know, something maybe shady going on, it's like, oh, you're a racist. And then they do their taxes and like all this stuff comes out, you know. How do people feel about that? I think it's very disappointing. And from what I saw in Candace Owens documentary, like the people in the Black community were disappointed. They didn't get the money they thought they were going to get. You know, this got me thinking actually about how this has happened so many other times with charities. Originally with the Christian Children Fund, remember with Sally Struthers, and she used to cry all the time and she'd be out on, like, she was their spokesperson. They had quite a bit of scandals too. Apparently there was a guy who was working for them. He was like a chairman, or he was on the board, and he became a whistleblower, and he said they would have these quarterly meetings, and it would come up that, yeah, $50,000, yeah, like one of our reps in such and such country gave $50,000 to his fiance, or so-and-so like diverted funds to something else. Even back in the day with Christian Children's Fund, this would happen on the regular, and the charity knew about it, but nothing was ever done about it. Like they'd be like, yeah, they did that. That sucks. They shouldn't have done it. But nothing was ever followed up on. You guys remember that? And then another one. Yeah, what, Olivier, are you still here? Yeah, somebody want to help me out there? Moderators, please. I'm getting trolled a bit. What about feed the children in Africa when you're a kid? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So these really huge charities, this is the problem. Like they get so much money, and then if they're not trustworthy, a lot of that money can like really not at all go where you wanted it to go. Christian Children's Fund, which by the way was never Christian actually, as it so happens. That was like one of the earliest scandals with charities, fundraisers. And another one was Live Aid. You remember with Ethiopia, like back in the late 80s, and Bob Geldof, who was leading this, this concert and this charity drive to get money to feed the poor Ethiopians. I remember that. Everybody was buying their record. Wasn't it called like Feed the World or something? But anyway. Yeah, Feed the World. Do you guys remember that? Everyone was on that bandwagon. Like everybody bought that record. All the stores were playing it. It was huge. It was on the radio all the time. Well, it turned out like there was a lot of really shady stuff going on. So I'm not an expert in the story, but basically there was this like warlord / dictator guy who had sort of taken over the country, and all that money that was supposed to go to feeding people actually went to him, and he just bought guns with it. He bought weapons with it, and they ended up becoming like the best armed country in Africa because of it. The money wasn't able to get to the people who needed it, and in the end, I remember there was this, as the story goes, Bob Geldof ended up flying over there himself and trying to like do like food drops. So again, people over here like dug deep in their pockets, threw all this money in this big charity, and it ended up literally buying guns. Crazy. And another one was like the whole situation in Haiti. Do you guys remember that with the Bush Clinton Fund? Yeah, I see your comments and your questions, but I just want to finish talking about this before I go off on more tangents. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. The Bush Clinton Fund, of course, where there was that terrible earthquake in Haiti. That was in what year was that? 2009? Oh, I can't remember. But everybody wanted to help, right? And they were donating money to the Bush Clinton Fund, and I thought, Bush Clinton, like, who do you think that money is going to go to? Well, I remember them saying that they weren't going to give it to the Haitian government because they couldn't be trusted. So only 10% of it went directly to Haiti. It wasn't only that, it was also the Red Cross. Even there was some scandalous stuff going on. Let me find you the one with there were Haitians protesting outside Hillary Clinton's office over, quote, billions stolen. Because the problem was a lot of Haitians were displaced and they were living in tents. Everyone was giving them money. And then years later, they were still in tents. And the story was kind of dying down in the media. But on YouTube, we would see sometimes like people would be talking about it and showing the footage that they were still in these tent cities. So it turned out what they did was they gave all this money to these American developers who were building luxury resorts over there. And they were saying, yeah, well, it's going to provide employment and it's going to trickle down. Didn't work out that way. They basically like this, you know what? I have this book here, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Where he talks about things like that too, about how governments they're not really giving the money to the country. Like there would be these IMF loans, that countries would take these big IMF loans, but it was on condition that they would hire contractors from a certain country, like America, for example. They get the loan, and then basically they hire these contractors from America, these big corporations, to come over and build stuff, but it only enriches those corporations and usually just destroys the environment. And it's just American and like multinational corporations that make a lot of money off it. So even with Haiti, like they took all this money, and I'm sure some of it went to disaster relief, but it didn't solve the problem of people living in tents, because it was then used to, for contracts to like build luxury resorts. But the people from the tents weren't in the luxury resorts. It was just rich people. So that's crazy. And there was another one. There was this article on NPR. This was like way back in the day. The Red Cross, $500 million in Haiti relief. So it said here, the Red Cross says it has provided homes to more than 130,000 people, but the number of permanent homes the charity has built is 6. So there were 130,000 people that needed homes. They built enough for 6. What? 6 homes. The Red Cross came with glossy booklets saying it was going to build hundreds of new homes, a water and sanitation system, and a health clinic. None of that happened. We still have tents, said the guy who was being interviewed at the time by NPR. I'm going to show you that the Red Cross has not intervened here at all. If you're talking about change, people should not be living like this. Crazy, eh? That's the Red Cross. They had taken all this money, and yet, yeah, like it didn't solve the problem. Like, who ever really helped Haiti? So there was Live Aid, there was Haiti. It's always like these super poor countries. People will really, respond to the call to help those people, but they give so much money, but where does it really go? And there was another story here. FBI had discovered a massive fraud scheme among groups that Feeding Our Future was supposed to oversee, saying they siphoned off tens of millions of dollars by charging taxpayers for non-existent meals. That was from the New York Times. Hold on, let me tell you when it was. I mean, this stuff just keeps happening. Oh, New York Times won't let me see it now. No. Paywall. I should probably just pay it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this stuff. It happens so much. The newer version with the brown stripes? What are you talking about? Anyway, so like when this whole thing happened with BLM, I wasn't surprised. There is this this organization here in Canada that investigates charities and gives them ratings. And I thought, if ever you want to give to a charity, at least in Canada, you're better to go and check them out here. Hold on a second. It was really great. Oh yeah, here it is. Is this it? Charity Intelligence Canada? Yeah, that's really cool. I looked into this and I was like, wow, there's so many charities. There are some that are big. They seem to have a lot of ability to get themselves in lots and lots of media coverage. It doesn't mean that they're the best ones for the job of actually helping people. So it's called charityintelligence.ca. So if you want to, if you're interested in giving to a charity, and like, for example, if you want to help the Black community, there's probably charities on here for sure that specialize in that. And if you want to give to the LGBTQ charities, you can probably find some here too. But that way you're not like donating to BLM and then the money is ending up somewhere else, because it's quite outrageous. And like in the documentary, they were talking about how it became like a religion, like you can't say anything against it. I always find that that's suspicious. Whenever like people aren't allowed to say anything, or it's like, oh, you're the enemy, something weird is going on. The Australian bushfires, the world gave millions, and then what happened, Natalie? did that money ever get to the people that needed it? It's like all these big, huge charities. My feeling about it has always been that the bigger and the more powerful, the less likely it is to really get to where you want it to go. It's maybe better to give to like grassroots groups. Walk right in and give them a check. Yeah. Well, you know what? You can't really do that. Let's say if you're trying to donate to Haiti and you're here in Montreal, but I remember the Haitian community was doing like fundraisers that were going over there directly. I guess you can look for stuff like that. But yeah, you go check out charityintelligence.ca. And you probably have something like this in America as well. Let me see. Let's look up what they, I've seen this before, but what they look up, when you look up, let's say a better world breaking the cycle of poverty, but they give it 2 stars. Acclaim Health, solutions for your healthcare needs, 2 stars. ADRA Canada, empowering communities, changing lives, 2 stars. Against Malaria Foundation Canada gets 4 stars. Anyway, a lot of interesting stuff here. Alberta Animal Rescue Crew Society gets 5 stars. So they must be doing something right. Alberta Eco Trust got 1 star. So yeah, this is a way that like you can find out like where you, I have to get a handle on that. Where are you giving this money? So a lot of people, you know, watched this documentary from Candace Owens and posted their reactions. So you can see them like, you know, watching it real time and reacting to it. And a lot of them that were BLM supporters watched it and they said like, come on, like, this isn't cool, you know? But then there are some people that, this is a problem. And this didn't happen only with what happened with BLM, but with other things, that they're so devoted to this belief that this is the solution and this is the truth and this is the best thing that they don't want to hear anything. That's really a problem. Like you have to be open-minded, you know, when evidence or facts come out, you have to be open-minded to look at it. I've noticed that this has happened with other things as well, that, you know, people just like, they're like, okay, that, you know, I latch onto that, I believe it. It becomes almost like a religion, like they said. And then you don't want to hear anything about it. That's really a problem. You guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, I've seen family members go in this direction of friends that, you know, they just don't want to even know. It's just like if they've been misled or lied to, they don't want to know. And then that way they can hang on to the lie, I guess, if it makes them feel more comfortable. And I'm not talking specifically about BLM, but it's just in general. Like sometimes when people have really jumped on a bandwagon big time, they don't want to hear about it after. They don't want to find out they've been, you know, taken advantage of, or that their money was used for something else. And I mean, that's sure a lot of money was raised for transgender and LGBTQ community. That's wonderful for them, but I'm pretty sure that when people donated after, you know, the death of George Floyd, they were thinking it was going to help that kind of problem, you know? So it's 2 totally different things. Well, my black friend, the very reasonable intellectual one, not the other one that I said that got really angry when I even brought this up. So yeah, I asked her, you know, what was she thought and about like donating to charities for sex workers, and she said, well, there's a lot of black sex workers. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And there's black transgender people, and they'll probably have it even harder than other black people or other transgender people, so that makes sense. But then when you look at the list, like, it's actually, no, it's not about being black. It's really just LGBTQ and transgender, and that's it. So Sharon Osbourne said she wanted her money back. Yeah, imagine if you donated to Ukraine and the money went to the trucker convoy, for example. I mean, like, imagine if your left-leaning friend donated to Ukraine and the money went to the trucker convoy. They would say, like, that's not what I donated to, you know? I didn't even realize people were donating to Ukraine. I thought our Canadian government was taking care of that, and especially like on the military end. I mean, they had supplied them with all this military stuff and they had trained them, so I thought they would also take care of them now that they're in the middle of a war, you know? I mean, that would be kind of uncool to, they had set up like this training center, right? I talked about it in another video. And they had all this like super high technology stuff that they were using to train Ukrainians, and they were providing them with all this technology and all this stuff. And then they get in a war and they're just like, "Oh, sorry that you have no food and you have nowhere to go. Sorry, that's not my problem." That doesn't make sense. You'd think they'd be helping them. Otherwise, something, that's very like not okay, right? So that's what I thought. Well, I'm sure they're taking care of them. I mean, they kind of helped them get into this mess. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Well, I don't know about get into this mess, but they helped them. They helped them. No, not get into this mess, but they've been helping them defend themselves. So they should also be helping them with their other needs. I don't want that to be taken the wrong way. I'm not saying like Canadians got the Ukrainians in the war, because it wasn't their fault that the Russians attacked them. Let's just say, okay. I'm very wary of any large charity. Scott Ritter is a dependable source? For what? I'm just looking at your comments. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, I know this is just like a random live whatever. There's no like super great visuals and all that, but I just wanted to bring it up and say like I totally don't think that this is all right. And let me know what you think. I don't really know much about what's going on with Ukraine as far as like who's giving them money, for their needs and their shelter. But I'll tell you one thing though. We took some Ukrainian refugees here, and I have a couple of Ukrainian friends who have family over there. And both of them received family or friends here in Canada. And those Ukrainian refugees that came went back. They actually went back to Ukraine. Both of them. So one of my friends, his parents came over, his father and his stepmother, and they discovered that once you come here, you just get welfare. And welfare is like nothing. It's like $650 a month. So you basically have to live in someone else's house, and all you get is $650 a month. And I think you're supposed to learn French in like 6 months. And basically they just give you almost nothing. So his father decided to go back to Ukraine. Can you believe it? He literally figured that he had a better quality of life in Ukraine in spite of the war than he did here. Like, that is a true story. They were like, yeah, this isn't working for us. We can't do anything here. We're totally screwed, because they get welfare for a certain amount of time, and then they're supposed to, I don't know, like find work. But if you don't speak French, like you really can't. And they're older. They're like over 65. So they were like, yeah, we're completely screwed here. They were very disappointed. In other countries, I think they give refugees a lot more. So that was one. And the other one, there was a family tragedy that happened over there, and she ended up going back to be with her granddaughter. Oh, thank you so much, Guinevere. Thank you for the super chat. Guinevere, you're so generous. I remember your donation last time, and I was like, wow, thank you so much. And you donated again. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, Guinevere, if you have anything you want me to talk about, I'm here for you. Just bring it up. Yeah, so my friend Olga, her friend came over, and again, it was the same thing though. It was like she gets $650 welfare, has to learn French in 6 months, and then pretty much like you're on your own. I don't know how people are supposed to manage that way. I thought they'd do more for them. They didn't do very much at all. But I remember with the Nigerians that were at our church, they were refugees that have been, actually it's the UN that sends them here. Like people that end up in refugee camps and stuff. It's the Olga, the esthetician. they don't just get to decide what country they're going to go to. The UN has a resettlement program, and they only actually resettle 1% of the refugees. I was surprised to learn that. You'd think, oh, they're like, just send them all to Canada, but it's really not like that. Like a lot of them. Thank you so much, Guinevere. Thank you. So generous of you. Thanks. I appreciate it. I really do. Um, yeah, you'd think like, oh, they just get resettled, they just get sent here. Maybe they choose to come to Canada, but for the UN, no. Like, so there's like, you can come here on a work visa, but you have to really qualify. You have to either be meeting the needs of a labor shortage, or have, gotten a job here based on some special skills you have. Um, and that's an economic immigrant on a work visa. So that's something like a lot of my neighbors are like that. Um, as a refugee, either you get referred through the UN and they picked Canada for you. Like, you don't get to choose, or you're an asylum seeker. So you come here for some reason, then you ask for asylum, and then they may or may not let you stay. Usually they don't. But if you come over as a refugee, then like you really don't get very much. Like those Nigerians that were at our church, they had been staying in this like building that they had for refugees, and they were, I guess, taking French, and they had apartments that they were sharing, and they had nothing. And so when my mother moved out of her place, we got this big truck and we brought all the stuff over there and fixed up all these apartments with the furniture. And they pretty much got jobs pretty quickly, but a lot of them left Quebec because the whole French thing was a total hassle. But it's really not like the government gives you a whole ton of money. So, Funyuns? Why are Funyuns so delicious? I don't know. I don't really like Funyuns. Okay, I wanted to tell you something else though. It's totally not related to all this stuff. I think I said what I could say about it. I went out to dinner tonight. Parlez-vous français? Oui, je parle français. Bien sûr. Non au revoir. Lady Liberty. I didn't know you spoke French. Of course I speak French, or I wouldn't manage very well here at all. I've been living here like almost my whole life. Actually was educated in French. So yeah, I went to dinner tonight with a friend, and we went to Old Montreal to this really fancy restaurant called Gibby's, which I'd never been to before. It's like, I mean, I've lived here for so long, right? And I never went to this place. And it's crazy too, because I know who the guy is. Like, my father knew Gibby Rosenberg, and my mother knew Sorrel Rosenberg, the Rosenbergs who owned this restaurant. My mother used to go to aerobics class with Sorrel Rosenberg. And my father knew Gibby Rosenberg. And then one day when I came back from the States, because I'd been living in the States for a bit over 3 years, I was in the metro and I see this like super good looking native guy, like look like a model. I mean, he's going to watch this, he's going to get a big ego, but doesn't matter. He already has one. I see this native guy with like, nice black hair and beautiful cheekbones and pretty face. And he had these tattoos on his knuckles. And I just said something to him about his tattoos. Like I don't know, boldly brought it up. Next thing you know, we're hanging out together. He's coming over to visit me. And I ended up dating this guy for like 6 months. I ended up dumping him because he was a paquet de trouble, as we'd say here. But extremely charming chick magnet. Lara knows him too. She would agree. Chick magnet. So that was Randy. And then I discover, after I meet him completely randomly on the metro, I discover that he's the adopted son of Gibby Rosenberg. And I was like, oh my God, our parents know each other. So crazy. And so his father finally died, but the restaurant apparently is still run by the family. And there I was having dinner there too tonight for the first time, and it was really incredible. And my friend paid for it, very generous. I had done some cat sitting for him, so he said, "Oh, well, take you out to dinner." So It was really, really good. I felt like a rich lady. It was a really nice place. The food was really amazing. And I have some leftovers that I put in a little pack, and I said it's for the dog. But because it was such a fancy place, I wasn't sure, like, is it okay to take leftovers, you know? But I can never throw food away. I think because my mother lived through World War II and almost starved to death, so I can never throw food away. So I asked for it, and I was like, it's for the dog, you know? And she's like, oh, it's for the dog. And then I was like, after I was laughing so much, I was like, yeah, the dog is me, actually. But yeah, it was really, really good. Oh my God. It was like better than any food that we had when we were in Europe. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Gibby's, but like it was really like a super fancy restaurant. It was amazing. I'm glad that we didn't just like go to some little Indian place like I normally would. This was really a nice change. And like it was all rich people in there with their fancy clothes. I had to put something together to make myself look decent, so I wore this. I'll show you what I'm wearing. Wait, what happened to it? Why is it all the way down here? Hold on. My clothes are falling off. Hold on. It's my yeah, the leftovers, yeah. They're good. This is my Betsey Johnson dress that I got like years ago. It's such a cute pattern. It's like, wait, is it on properly? Okay, I'll show it to you. It's like this, you know? I don't know if this does it justice. And then I just put the little Betsey Johnson sweater on top. That was my fancy outfit with my Doc Martens shoes because that's all I've got. I was like, quick, throw something together, look decent. And I didn't even take my car because they have valet parking. And I was like, no, if they see my car, they're going to be like, madame, actually, I'm sorry to tell you, but the dining room is full tonight. They're going to kick me out. They're going to see my hobo car. And they're going to be like, no, we can't let her in. But yeah, like I was happy the dress still fits. And I thought I did pretty well throwing this together. And they didn't kick me out. Yeah, I love Betsey Johnson so much. Thanks, you guys. I have a bunch of dresses from Betsey Johnson, but most of them don't fit me. Because I got them like at the time they were going out of business. Like the clothing part of Betsey Johnson was being discontinued, and they were just selling these clothes off like really cheap, you know? I mean, you know, I might have paid 60 or 70 bucks for this dress, but it's really high quality and it's lasted me a long time. So at the time I was just like grabbing all these sweaters. Yeah, they're so cute. They're all really, really nice. I'm looking at my closet. I have I want to show you this one dress. You guys want to see it? Ladies, I kind of really want to show you this dress. Let me know. I have some unbelievable Betsey Johnson dresses like that I bought more than 10 years ago. Like the one that I wore to my grunge. Yeah, I know, that's me. Yeah, it's so punk rock, eh? Like I showed up there with, and I didn't even have like stockings. I have like these tights, but I didn't do it on purpose. I was doing my best, you know. You want to see it, Pam? Okay, I'll show you. Yeah, I bought these incredible dresses. They're just phenomenal, and they would have been so expensive, but they were like selling them off, and I'm way too fat to wear them at this point. I've considered selling them, eh? But there's a part of me that's like, maybe I'll be skinny again one day. I don't know. It's like hard to sell them. Okay, I'll show you them. They're so nice. I'm gonna have to go get them and bring them over here. This always happens, eh? I start talking about one thing. I know, I'm so grunge. It's like I'm just like grunge through and through. You know, back in the 90s, people used to like say to me, "You're grunge, eh?" And I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what are you talking about? But I didn't even know, because I was such a nerd. I didn't even know that grunge was like a style of music and clothing. So they were like, you're grunge, you know, like they say you're emo or you're punk or you're grunge, eh? And I was like, no, I'm just grungy. Because I was wearing like flannel shirts and jeans, and I was like, I don't know, I've been dressing like that for a long time. Is it a thing now? Hold on a second. Oops. I dropped it. Where is it? Okay, I have tons of them, eh? Like I have so many. It's crazy. If I could, if they fit me, I would look really stylish all the time. But this one fits me, and it's one of my favorites. And I can sew actually, so I could get myself some jersey material and copy it. That would be so cool. But look at this. Isn't that cute? Look at this pattern. I just love it. I don't know if it looks as good on the camera, but it's like it's crossed over in the front, and then the back is like a V, and then see this crossover in the front, and it's this soft stretchy jersey, and then the skirt like comes out. Like look at that. It's one of those, you know, like super twirly skirt. Not that I'm twirling around, but yeah, that one's a really nice one. I basically I wear like really nice dresses to church, and the rest of the time I just look grunge. And then on Sunday I look like posh grunge. And there's this one. This is like a stretchy tube top kind of thing here. And then it's just really, really long. Yeah, and they were like just ditching them. Look at this, so much material on it, on the skirt. And you just wear it like this. And it's a really small size, but because of the kind it is, like I could still wear it. I look kind of pregnant in it though. I mean, I'll get a seat on the bus. That's the good part. Although at my age, I don't know. And then they had all these little sweaters. This is one of my favorites. Purple. I just love this. This is just amazing, you know? Yeah, start going to church. It's the only day of the week where I really like make sure like I fix myself up like really nice because I'm so excited to go to church. I love that it has this color, and I love this. And usually I don't wear ruffles because it's just too frilly. I feel like I'm in drag, you know? But in this one, in this case, it's good, you know? The ruffles are just here, and it's just the way everything is about it. It just totally works for me. And look at the buttons. They're like sparkly, crystal looking buttons. They're so nice. And then the sweater I'm wearing is Betsey Johnson, but so is this one. Like I have a ton of this stuff. And I go around looking like a schlep all the time just because it doesn't fit me. I'm not going to buy more clothes now, but yeah, this one's really nice. It's so cute. It's like 50s kind of reminds me of. Like it's super like nice girl sweater, and it's got these gold, but well, it has like gold around the edge. Super nice buttons. Anyway, maybe one day I'll show you all my Betsey Johnson clothes, but yeah. They're so nice. It would be so sad if I had to actually sell them. I should show you. Do you guys want to see like the prom dress thing? What? What'd you say? Armor of God, not going to start wearing frocks. No, that's not true, Alex. Don't say that. But we're done with that part. Now I'm just showing you my wardrobe. I know I'm all over the place. It was, Whitney, yeah, it was about grifting money. We talked about it. Well, it wasn't, we didn't say grifting. We're not going that far, but we said they took all the money. It was supposed to be for the Black community and police brutality, but they gave a lot of money to LGBTQ and transgender, this and that, which fine if people want to give to those charities, but you don't give to one and then they give it to something else because that's like breaking people's trust. So it's kind of an issue. But we're done with that, and now I'm just being, you know, all over the place like usual. And just showing some of my stuff that people wanted to see. But I want to show you the closet and track. You guys want to see the prom dress? Getting back into fashion since you were a teenager? Yeah, I don't bother with fashion. Like, anyway, I don't really like today's fashions that much. I just like certain things, and like this is what I really like. This is a style like basically just like Betsey Johnson and Doc Martens. I get my clothes at like Ardennes because they're cheap, but I don't really like them that much. Okay, I'll show you the dress because it's so, oh my God, I'm the most insane dresses. Like, I'd love to show them to you. I have to lose weight. Like, my friend that I had dinner with tonight, he was on the carnivore diet and he lost so much weight. And okay, no, I'm not going to try it on, but I'll show it to you. He went on the carnivore diet and he lost all the weight. And then he went on intermittent fasting plus the carnivore diet. And he said the weight was coming off so fast he had to stop. And now he's not doing carnivore anymore. He's just doing intermittent fasting. And I'm doing intermittent fasting too. And surprisingly, like, I've adjusted to it and I can just drink tea at night. But we'll see if I actually lose weight because he and we're not the same person. So I don't know if it'll work. But let's hope so. And then I can wear my nice dresses again. Well, I'll show you. I think it's here. I have to dig it up. Oh my God. Which one is it? I know this is so like not related to what I started out talking about, but this is the fun part. Oh, pill called Tenuate. Listen, I went to my doctor and I was like, well, listen, because I told you, he's like, watch out with your back. Don't gain any weight, because, and he made the face and you're like, you know, he's telling me, oh, don't get fat. And I was like, well, why don't you give me some of that Ozempic or whatever, you know? And he was like, no, I can't because you're not diabetic. So he pretty much shut that down. But you know me, I don't really like drugs so much anyway. Oh my God, this dress here, it's insane. You guys, I have to get skinny. I have to be able to wear these clothes. It's just, and I used to wear this stuff. But you know what? The fact is, like, I'm basically a cleaning lady. Just about. So I don't really have the lifestyle for it. I mean, what am I going to wear this for? Like, to clean? Seriously? I'm going to need more of a social life if I'm going to wear these things. This is insane, this dress. Oh my God. Look at it. It's so gorgeous. It has like the buttons down the front. But I'll put it like this so you get a better idea. Okay? It has buttons down the front. And there's boning in here. It's like a corset. I could use a corset now. I wish I could fit into it. And then it's this skirt that like really, it flares out so much. I mean, this one, I loved it. It looks practically medieval, but not like costumey. Where did I get all the clothes? I've had them for years. I've had them for over 10 years. When Betsey Johnson was going out of business, I was just like buying everything off their sales racks. They just don't fit me anymore, but I still have them because I'm hoping one day things will go the other way. You never know. I've been fat before. I mean, you know, I've had my ups and downs before, but only when I had a baby. And then the back of it, look at this. This is insane. Look, it has the lace in the back, like lace up. So actually, what's cool about this dress is it has a little bit of room for expansion. You don't have to make it tight. But at this point, I think even fully expanded, I don't think I could get in it. Let's see, what's the size? I was so tiny. Oh my God, it's a size 6. Oh my God, no. Size 6. What do I have this for? Oh, it's a bustier. I didn't even know I had it. Anyway. Oh yeah, this one is crazy. I love this one so much. Oh my God. Oh, I love this dress so much. Look at this. Betsey Johnson. Look at the bottom. It's so beautiful. Look, it's got layers. And then it doesn't have boning, but it has like this in the back. And in the front, it just buttons right up. And like there's tons of buttons. And look at them. They're like cloth covered. I like it because it kind of has this like sort of Little House on the Prairie Victorian kind of look to it. It's got a pattern with, can you see that? It's pink roses on a brown background. The light doesn't do it justice. It's gorgeous, isn't it, Pam? It's unbelievable. I used to wear this like back in 2009. I was so little and I could, you can see it more. I could fit into this thing, but you know, it's really the skirt that's like the great part. Maybe I can angle it down a bit and you can see the skirt. See that? Yeah. It's too bad. Anyway, there's that. But I wanted you to see the like prom dress that I wore for my brother's wedding. Oh, thank you so much, Guinevere. Seriously, like, if you want me to talk about something or like cover something, just let me know. Other than Funyuns. Nice to see Sonia come out as a woman. I know. Look, I'm coming out of the closet. Actually, I'm just bringing my whole closet out. Look, I'm in the closet about wanting to wear dresses. I do want to wear them. They just don't fit. Oh my God, Pam. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Look at this thing. This one, I thought I'd be able to fit it, but it's like this. It has this gorgeous applique on it. And then the skirt is like really big. But you know what? This is really messed up. I don't know how this happened, but look at this. I don't understand how this happened, but look, it's got like a stain on it here. And then on the skirt too. It's got stains on it. And I don't want to ruin it. But it's incredible, eh? Look, it has this beautiful like embroidered applique. It's like 3D. It's like a sculpture almost. And then this is like a velvet ribbon. And this one I could wear even when I wasn't super skinny. Oh, size 8. Oh my God. And it has a bit of boning in here too. This one was really great. I wore this like back in the day. Like I used to do like live shows, performance art and stuff at this gallery, or like do stand up and do the Infringement Theater Festival and stuff. And I used to wear some of this stuff. I wore that one once when I was the Truth Fairy. What's this? Oh my God, I have the other one right here. Look, this is crazy. And like these dresses would be so expensive. Look at this insanity. And it's got like a satin ribbon and it's pink. You see that one, Pam? Is this crazy or what? Is it so gorgeous? So then it's like this, you know? And it's small though, it's really small. It's like, I can't even put my boobs in there just holding it up. It's really beautiful. But I mean, what can I do? What size is it? Size 8. It doesn't fit at all. And then it even had like a little thing here where you could put a thing around your head so it wouldn't fall off. Yeah, they're beautiful, but like I don't know, like how skinny would I have to be to fit back in them? I don't know. I mean, I've had them for a really long time, like 15 years or something. And I don't know, they're my treasure. They're my treasure that sits in the closet. My mother used to collect antique dolls, and she had all these dolls up in the closet. And like, I have these gorgeous dresses, but what can I do? Like, I can wear this one that I'm wearing now, but I can wear like a few of them, but unfortunately not these, but they're just stunning. And you know, like a dress like this, when it was originally in the store, oh, thank you, Guinevere, thank you again. I mean, it's just stunning, and you don't see anything like this. Like, there's nothing like Betsey Johnson. I just realized something. I need to get myself a sugar daddy so he can pay for liposuction. Then I can wear my nice dresses. Yeah, this is something really like extraordinary. There's nothing like this. And it's just the combination that she had of the kinds of materials that she uses, like jersey and cotton, like really simple wearable fabrics in beautiful colors. Like I love all these muted tones. And the fact that there's like different layers of pink on it, and like the salmon pink. And then with all this embroidery. Okay, the dresses like this and the green one, their original price was something like $450 each, but I didn't pay anything near that. I paid like $150 each. But I mean, this is like $900 worth of dresses right there, those two. How crazy is that? I need a sugar daddy to pay for my liposuction. Make new clothes. Yeah, well, the jersey dress that crosses over, it fits me. And I could copy that one. I could copy that pattern. I could like get a big roll of tracing paper or whatever and like trace the pattern and make myself a copy of it. She had, there was a skirt that I had from her too that I kept it for years even though it fell apart because I was like, I'm going to make myself a copy because it's like the perfect skirt. No, I don't take prednisone. Wait, what's this? You saw my body in the basement where the pigs live? Oh, you think I have a nice body? Oh, thanks. Well, I like these days, I guess like slightly plus size is kind of in. It's just that I need to take this from here and like put it here. But honestly, guys, I don't think I would do that even if I came into like a lot of lottery winnings or something because I think it's too dangerous. And I think maybe I'm too old. Like, I don't know if I could like survive that kind of stuff. But it would be kind of fun. Herbalife has a good product. Is it a weight loss product? Okay, I'm going to write that down. Yeah, my doctor was like, no, I'm not giving you weight loss drugs because they're not diabetic. And I was like, okay, I'm going to work on that. I'll come back to you in 6 months. Herbalife. Oh my God, my friend. Oh no. I didn't even want to tell you. Like, my friend told me, just eat white beans and it has like magic and it'll make you lose weight. Don't eat white beans. Don't. It'll ruin your life. I'm not going to go into detail. Thank you, Guinevere. Oh, sorry about that. That's my telegram. Keeping me up to date. So I haven't tried, what's that, like Garcinia Cambogia? I haven't tried that, but I kind of don't really have a lot of hope for those kind of things. It's going to be a lot of wasted money. Whoops. Yes, it removes fat. Garcia, Bet Kelly, what? Yeah, 50s inspired. I know, I love it. What removes fat? Tell me. Yeah, where the pig lived. Yeah, that was in the basement. But how did you see my body? You could see my body on the train to Germany because I was on the stairs in front of a mirror. Yeah, my grandfather had to hide the pig from the Nazis. It's true. And they got a new one every year, and they told my mother that the old one ran off. White bean. I don't know, my friend, she's telling me, like, you got to eat white beans. And I was like, I tried it for like a day. And then I just could only make Anita videos after that. No, seriously, like, I need to find a better solution. What I need something that makes you lose weight, like, easily, instantly, without you suffering. Oh, he did? He told you to donate? Ah, thank you. Well, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Guinevere. Prolessa? Is that from Herbalife? I'll let you know if it works. I mean, right now I'm doing an experiment with the intermittent fasting. I'll let you know if that works. Well, I think I'm put together okay. Thanks, you guys. Yeah, I'm put together okay, but I just feel like I have more padding around the middle, you know. But they say like women are obsessed with belly fat. It's true. My legs. Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, I'd been going to the gym for like 2 months straight, and I was working out 3 times a week, plus I was walking 3 times a week. And yeah, my legs got into shape. But I used to be like a weight trainer. Like when I was in my 20s, I was really like full of muscle. My butt was like super round. I was just like perfect. and I had a 6-pack, and people used to touch it all the time. And you know what? After I stopped training, like that 6-pack stuck around for a long time. At one point, I thought it was never going to go away, and I was like, "Oh, great! I'm just going to have a 6-pack now." But it did go away after a while. Yeah, it didn't last forever. But yeah, I used to like be in super great shape when I was younger. Optavia? What is it though? Prolessa, Optavia. I'm writing all this down. Are these things like without a prescription? Optavia. I've never heard of it. Okay, I'm going to look it up. You guys want to know what Optavia is? Hold on, let me turn it. I'm just so like not comfortable with pharma drugs though. Did I tell you they gave me Lyrica? It's sitting there somewhere. I haven't touched it. My back is a lot better. I mean, my leg. It wasn't really my back. It was like it was an impinged nerve or something because of that, and it was affecting my left leg. But like now, it seems fine. I walked half the way back from Old Montreal, and I was okay. I'm just scared I'm going to throw it out again. 23 pounds. Will, where can I get some of this stuff? Optavia? Oh, it's health and wellness community. Okay. See their cover page. Okay, representing all different kinds of people, not only skinny people, skinny young people. I don't want like a coach because I was like an expert in like fitness and weight loss. Seriously, like I really know like what you do to get yourself fit. I've always known. I used to like train like crazy. I could train other people. It's just menopause. It completely screwed me up, I guess. Oh, no. I need something more than that. It's like all these things like Noom and whatever. Like, I just don't believe it because I've tried so many things like that. And you guys know I did keto a lot. Okay, I'm not going to do Optavia. At this point, I'm looking for like drugs, basically, but like legal, natural ones, you know? Prolessa. Okay, let's see what that is. Diethylpropion? Oh, Prolessa 7-day program, Herbalife Nutrition. Oh, it's a protein shake. Prolessa, hunger control and fat reduction. I could use some hunger control in the morning. Oh no, wait, I'm not allowed to eat though. Urine therapy, you know, I've heard of that. I don't know if I'm that desperate yet though. I know this one woman, her channel is 4 Eyes 2C with 4 and 2 being numbers. She used urine therapy for a very long time, and you can go check out her channel. I was well, like before I was like, oh come on, that's disgusting. But then I saw her channel. I still think it's disgusting, but I was like, okay, well it seems to be working for her. Her hair looks great and stuff. But it's called Shivambu. It's like this Indian thing. I lost 116 pounds and reversed all my health issues. Keto and OMAD. Oh my God, yes, no wonder, because you're eating 1 meal a day. No wonder you lost weight. I know, but I want to lose weight, but without being miserable. Have you tried the Whole30 diet? No. Okay, dual action protein powder. No, but like I've almost like got it nailed now. Like I'm doing the 16-hour fast, but okay, wait, I'll look up diethyl protein. Wait, let me write it down. Oh my God, diethyl propion. It's crazy too because I've been talking to you guys for like an hour and a half, and like we started out talking about the whole BLM thing, but as you can see, I'm a lot more excited about weight loss. Diethyl propion. Okay, let's see what that is. Diethyl. Oh, here it is. What is it? Oh my God, I can only imagine the side effects. So let's just go straight to side effects. It'll probably scare me off instantly. What? Your doctor lost 45 pounds with diethylpropion? Dizziness, dry mouth, difficulty sleeping, irritability, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. Oh my God. nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. No wonder you lose weight on that stuff. I mean, it's like, is there a catch? Well, may raise your blood pressure. My God. Tell your doctor if you feel fast, irregular, pounding heartbeat, mental mood changes such as agitation, uncontrolled anger, hallucinations, nervousness, uncontrolled muscle movements. My God, what is this stuff? How does this stuff even get approved? Can you imagine if you had an herbal supplement and it gave you pounding heartbeat, uncontrolled anger, and uncontrolled muscle movements, and you're just raging through the city? Coming through! Get out of my way! I'm on diethylpropion. Move! I mean, if you were on like an herbal supplement that did those things, that thing would get pulled from the market pretty quickly. Like, I kind of don't understand why there's such a double standard. Trouble speaking, seizures, and weakness. Oh my God. This sounds pretty dangerous. And this is to do what? Lose weight? I think I'll stay fat, thanks. Well, I've totally mastered not eating in the evening and during the night. So that's great. But the problem was, like, if I stopped eating at 8, no problem for the evening and then the morning. But then I'm supposed to go all the way till 12. And by like 10 o'clock, like, I'm so hungry, I can't think. So I can't get my stuff done because I'm like so hungry, it's distracting me. So then what I did was I tried to move the dinner back. I'm trying to move it till like 5 o'clock so that I can like do the fasting longer, maybe even longer than 16 hours. If I was going to get, if anybody was going to get side effects, it would be me. Yeah, it'd be me too. Similar to amphetamine. Oh, well, actually, I need to put it that way. Maybe I'll look into it. Doctor's orders, prescription. Thinking about going to the sauna. Yeah, I know. Like, I just completely dehydrate myself. Like, all my weight just like sweats out of me, and I'm like, oh, I lost 5 pounds. Feel great. Instant 5 pound. Like, I don't wrap myself in shrink wrap with like Velveeta cheese slices underneath. Just sweat it all out, you know. Well, yeah, it works, but it's weight, right? But I want to lose actual fat. I don't know. I'm starting to think like there's got to be something I can do with that vacuum cleaner. I gotta like Aaron's pretty good at like mechanics. Maybe he can MacGyver it, and I can give myself the DIY liposuction. Your dogs are viciously fighting next to you. I hope they're not doing any damage. No alcohol, no caffeine. Okay, the alcohol, that's already done, but no caffeine. No thanks. Wait, this is an arthritis medication? Oh no, it's supposed to, with behavior change program to help you lose weight. Okay, we're obese. No, I'm not obese. What's an appetite suppressant? Sympathomimetic amines. I thought amines or amines were poisonous. I don't know. I'd have to check into that. Your 4 dogs, what were they doing? Oh, they're not really viciously fighting, I hope. What kind of dogs are they? Okay, thanks, Joey. Yeah. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Okay, so dimethylpropion. It kind of rings a bell, but I don't know. I don't think anybody's gonna give me that stuff. I'll keep you posted though. Anybody else have any other weight loss magic? Has anybody tried that Garcinia cambogia and that stuff? You quit coffee several months ago, you have more energy than ever. I know people always say that. One time I accidentally bought like decaf coffee and I was drinking it for 2 weeks and I was just like all the time and I was like, what's wrong with me? I think I'm getting Alzheimer's or something. And then I realized, oh, I bought a decaf coffee and it never got better. I need it to function. Did we look into all of them? Herbalife. Anyway. Oh, poodle and shih tzu. Oh, Yorkie. Oh, how cute. Oh, they're little. Oh, I love little dogs. They're so cute. Wait, DIY fat dissolver injections? Can you get it at the hardware store? Oh, you have to go to South Korea to get it? I don't know. I kind of spent all my money already when I went to Europe. Mainly using the face. Oh, no, 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 no. No, I've heard about that. That's like Kybella and stuff. They like put it in here and it dissolves your fat. Yeah, I don't know. Tuning forks. Avoid water. No. Like worse, like when you go to the internet for weight loss advice, avoid water. Bad advice. Yeah, it's like no, avoid sugar. I don't eat it anyway. Keto. No, I'm not doing keto anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like burning my cauliflower rice every day. Oh, you have a cat? That's nice. Some cats are okay. Olga has a couple of really cute cats. Justin has a really nice cat too, and he talks to his cat. Cat's his good friend. George has a nice cat too. Like some people have nice cats. Some cats are fuckers though, you know? It just depends on the cat. Seriously, you get that shipped to you from South Korea? What do you call it? Oh my God. Anyway, I wouldn't do that. I'd probably screw it up. And then I'll come on here and I'll be like, my DIY fat reduction injection story and how it went horribly wrong. What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's late. Well, anyway, I went to dinner and now I've showed you my wardrobe, and tomorrow Gunner is going climbing. I sold one of his Nerf guns and that's going to pay for his climbing, so that worked out super well. Okay, I'll take a note of this. Eileen Day, what? There's got to be a solution out there. There's got to be something. Madeira therapy? You know, the LPG used to work really well for me to keep my waist small. It worked so well. It was amazing. That was what got me started on it in the first place. She did one treatment on me and I shrank by like 1 centimeter. And I knew that because I could move my belt loop. It was even more than a centimeter. It was like a lot. Anyway, maybe an inch almost. And I was like, what is this? You know, because it just like shrank me so fast. But I can't do it anymore because I have this like prolapse, like this like hiatal hernia. And so that can screw up your vagus nerve. So like when she does the LPG on my stomach, I get this like nerve feeling that goes all the way down. So I can't do it anymore. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go to the gym. A cat bit you, and you had to go to the ER. Oh my God, that's so scary. Well, I guess you can get an infection, or worst case scenario, like I could have rabies. Let's hope not. Um, all right. Well, I'm gonna look into that stuff, and it's been fun talking to you guys. You guys are always a blast. And yeah, that's it for the BLM story. You know, I figured I'd just chime in about it, let you know what I thought. And like I said, I wanna come on here like twice a week, like Tuesdays and Thursdays. But Thursday it might be Friday. It just depends. Like if I can't get here on Thursday. But those videos were like I used to make these videos with like tons of graphics, but I'd spend like, oh, thank you again, Guinevere. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. God bless. Yeah, those videos that I was making that took me like 8 to 12 hours, it's like unsustainable. Like I have too much fatigue in the day. I can't like deal with that. It was just grueling. I just can't anymore. I'm so sick of it. I'll just come on here and ramble and talk to you guys about stuff. You know what I want to do is get streaming software like I mentioned before, but it might not happen right away. What happened with BLM? Well, I told you before, what happened was they took all these donations, but they donated it to other kinds of things. Like they donated to other charities that were not directly related to the Black community and or police brutality. So it's a bit of a scandal. I mean, it wasn't like they took all the money and just bought themselves a bunch of Porsches, although she did give her brother and her baby daddy like, you know, 840,000 and 970,000 or something like that to the other one. lots of money to people that were close to her for, I mean, for what? For security detail? For production and media? Like, that's a lot of money. But, and the question of the person who was working for their consulting firm that bought a mansion and sold it to BLM for $6.3 million or something like that. Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, the trans organizations, they gave a lot of money to them. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't give money to trans organizations or sex workers or whoever. It's just when you're giving it to BLM, you're thinking it's going to go somewhere else. Well, that's it. You know, none of it went to George Floyd, his family. Yeah, even his roommates, like his car was still parked in the driveway, and like nobody helped them pay the rent or nothing. It was kind of shocking. Oh, thanks, Guinevere. Yeah, well, you know, it's nice for the sex workers and all that they got the money, but I'm pretty sure that's not where people thought it was going, because they were protesting and having riots because of the problems that were happening with black people in the US, not because of sex workers in Canada, you know, or or whatever. It wasn't that those riots and all that upheaval, that wasn't because of phone sex operators. They weren't, you know, it was a totally different cause. So, yeah. I just wanted to bring it up. And she has this movie, The Greatest Lie Ever Sold. That's Candace Owens documentary, which I have to finish watching it. Well, Bet Callie, it's because Patrice Cullen's partner is like a gender nonconformist, so it's a cause that's dear to their heart. But that wasn't what people. I'm going to talk to my black friend again, the intellectual, see what she thinks of all that. Give her the breakdown. Oh, she already told me. She's like, it's, you know, it's not cool. I don't care who's doing it. You don't take money and then give it to something else, you know. But I'll see what she thinks about exactly, you know. I'll talk to her again. She's a really smart, very, very interesting person, like total intellectual. We have the best conversations. She's like my twin, basically. We can nerd out together. I said to help the black community till I build libraries and museums and stuff. Yeah, I have some books here. Like I have a Nickel and Dimed, and also another one. It was called Evicted, and it was all about. Uh, oh, oh, is that why your comic came out like that? Yeah, it was all about like the how like the housing industry works, and like how easy it is to evict people. Like for example, if you're in a domestic violence situation and you call the police, then your landlord could evict you because the police came to your place. So like these are total injustices, you know. So there's certain problems like that, and then like there's some people that they're like indentured servants, basically. They're given very, very, very little wage, but because they're given a place to sleep, so it's like they live in your house and they basically do whatever you say, then you pay them almost nothing. So how are they ever going to get out of that? No, the documentary is not on YouTube. It's on Daily Wire. But like for sure, Candace Owens has done a lot of trolling, you know. Absolutely. I don't even want to get into what she did, but she's trolling. It's like it's meant to be inflammatory. It's you know, and there are people who don't like her, but you got to see past the messenger and like see what the message is. I mean, these are just facts, you know. She didn't make this stuff up. So, but some people they just don't want to even look because they're like, oh, it's Candace Owens. I can't stand her. I'm not even gonna look, you know. Anyway, it's been fun, you guys, and I enjoyed showing you my wardrobe. Let's hope I get skinny. Thanks for the tips. I'll work on it. I'll let you know how that turns out. Okay, well, I love you guys. It was great to see you, and I hope you have a good night. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.